Hey, Angela, welcome to the NTM Growth Marketing Podcast. It's an honor to be speaking with you today.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me today.
Well, Angela, you have definitely one of the most just engaging and exciting Instagram channels I followed recently. And I want to just dive right into how do you come up with so much original content every day to be sharing with your community?
Yeah, so I feel like I get that question a lot. It's a combination of a few
Mm,
different things. Because a little bit of it obviously is a little bit of strategy, right? Because you want to make sure that it's leading to the right places. But you know, a lot of what Gary Vaynerchuk says a lot of times is document, don't create. So a lot of the
mm,
stuff that you see on there is really me just living just my life, right? So you might see me, collaborating and stuff like that with different people. That's because those are literally genuine workouts that I do with different people.
mhm,
You also might see, some things with motivation where I'm talking. A lot of times those motivational things are things that I've used in like with my clients that have had that problem and now I help them solve it.
mhm,
And I literally just take it and put it right in and make it some content. So a mix of it is again documenting client stuff that I've come up with before. And then also questions that a lot of people ask me before, like I really niche down to pull ups. So a lot of times you'll see stuff with content on pull ups. Those are literally
mhm,
questions that a lot of my pull up clients have had that I'm now answering via Instagram. So a lot of the content really just comes from living what you're
mm.
doing.
I'm so glad you cited Gary Vaynerchuk because I feel like I quote him every single day in our like marketing agency or even on the podcast, and I sometimes get just like blank stares at me of who's Gary Vaynerchuk. So it sounds like he's been a big inspiration for you.
Oh, absolutely. Actually, there was one day where I met him when I used to live in New York City
Hmm.
years ago. I met him at a Starbucks. I saw
Really?
him getting Starbucks and I was freaking out because I'm like, how does nobody like going up to him right now? I was like, fan. And I went up to him and I was just like, I just want to let you know, like, I literally follow your stuff and it's been a game changer for me. He was with his daughter and stuff like that. So I don't want to get into too
Hmm.
much detail. But yeah, I think I like what he says a lot. And it's like I said, documenting, not creating. It's like if you're just like throwing a bunch of stuff out there and you don't really know like who you're talking to or what's
Hmm.
happening, like a lot of times it won't stick, right? But a lot of times these conversations you have with different peoples around you, like keep note of that. And if you have a great idea, go over into your notes. I have a notes section in my phone, and I always will just like write little
Hmm.
things. Oh, this really resonated. Oh, okay, this idea, and just always put it in there. So when you go to create content, you already have a whole list of stuff right
Hmm.
there that you know is going to work.
Hmm. So let's take one step back before we dive into more marketing questions. And you have such a fascinating background. I'd love for you just to catch us up to speed of a little bit of your background and what you're currently up to business wise.
Absolutely, yeah. So I actually started my entire journey as a biochemist, so nothing to do
Really?
with anything I'm doing now. Yeah, so I was a biochemist, and so I got my degree in biological chemistry. Got out of college and literally went straight into working at Brown University, working at a pharmaceutical company, like full on
Mm,
lab coat goggles, whole situation. Then after that, I'd realized that a lot of what I was more passionate about was health and fitness. I just never thought that could be like a real job or like a real thing to like actually
mhm,
make income off of. So then I decided to, save up at least 4 or 5 months of rent. And then I decided to just take the leap. I'm going to jump and I'm just going to see what happens. So I knew that I could always go back to using my degree and doing those things later on if I needed to, right?
mhm,
So I saved up enough money. I think that's really important when you're taking the jump to do that because at the end of the day, like you need to make a living, right? And you need to have money to do a lot of the things you need to do. So you don't want to like jump ship before you have a plan because then
mhm,
you're going to wind up just doing whatever you can for money. And then it turns into this like scarcity type situation. So left that, wound up, this is a very long story short of this, but wound up opening my own gym. Had a
an
physical,
actual like brick and mortar gym.
yep,
Very cool.
open a physical gym. I had that for about like 3 years out in Rhode Island. Started recognizing that that's not what I wanted to do. I didn't like
Mhm,
that I had to actually stay in one place. My mind was like, man, I want to adventure. I want to do all this thing. So shut that gym down. And in between that time, I took a bunch of courses on how to do online coaching, as I had no idea
mhm,
like what I was doing in that aspect. And while I was learning that, went to the city, New York City, met all the people I needed to meet, created really great relationships to things along those lines. And that's where my online programming was born. So it was really born through that. This is before COVID. This is before it was cool. This is when people were like, what are you doing online? I started off with doing just one-on-one training online just to kind of get the feel for how this is going to work and things like that. And now if you see on my page, it's now evolved into, I really niched down into teaching women how to do pull-ups. That seemed to be every time when I was coaching people, what I was helping them with. So I now have created a do-it-yourself version of that people do online. But yeah, a lot of it has evolved. But what's really cool is all those steps along my journey that I went through, I really needed to go through that, right? So I wouldn't have been able to just go from, owning a gym and training people from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. To online training without that 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. situation. I really learned how to work with people, what their needs were, different things that you learn when you're doing that. So a lot of the pieces on your journey that you're going through, I feel like is really important for you to go through. So you might want to be like right at the other end right now, but those little pieces to build up to it is really beneficial.
There's a lot that I want to extract from that. So the first is, so actually this morning I've opened up to Logan Paul because of Gary Vaynerchuk's endorsement. And I was listening to an interview this morning he had with Kevin O'Leary. And Kevin O'Leary had said, you should give a business idea 3 years before you call it off. And you had said you gave your in-person gym 3 years before you decided to shut it down. Can you talk a little bit more about maybe even like from an emotional standpoint, what that was like to shut down a business that I'm sure was your baby and you've put so much time and energy into?
Yeah, and I love that you said that because I didn't realize that 3 years was the time, but I guess it worked out for me. Yeah, because I do feel like you need to give it a shot, right? You need to like not. Some people try and pivot like within like 3 months, or they just kind of give up like right after that. Yeah, it was really emotional for me to have to shut down the gym because I created such a great connection with all of these people, right? It was for me, it was about the people, but I knew in my heart that as I was showing up more and more and more after those years that it wasn't feeling good for me anymore. Like it wasn't filling my cup. I was feeling kind of like annoyed sometimes to go in and things like that. But then I stopped for a second. And what actually really was the catalyst in order for me to actually shut down the gym was when I was on American Ninja Warrior, tore my ACL on American Ninja Warrior. And it almost like kind of like had this moment, this like flash before my eyes of, you know, am I just doing these things because I feel like I have to do them? I'm supposed to do them. That was like the next thing. And what would it look like? And I had my brain go wrap around, what would it look like if I did shut it down? Will everybody be okay in the long run? Will they be okay? Because that's my biggest problem was like, I'm going to affect these people's lives that I've now changed and now I'm gonna like leave.
Your clients or your employees?
My clients. I mean, I had a few employees, but like more like the clients that I was like, I'm gonna leave that, like I'm leaving them. And I had to sit down for a second and realize that they're going to be okay. Like they will be okay. Everyone else will be okay. And I had to take a moment and really focus on myself and what I wanted. So once I decided to make that decision, I just went full force in what I need to do to make sure they were set up for success and that everything was able to shut down in a clean, like in a good way. So I made sure that they were all taken care of, stuff like that. But it was really hard. And honestly, I've done the same thing now again, right? I had a membership for online for about 3 years now. And I actually decided to shut that down in May because same thing. I was recognizing that it wasn't filling my cup. It also wasn't bringing in the revenue that I wanted it to. It was just really just dragging and pulling from these other things that I knew I would have more revenue from, I'd feel better from, and all those different things. So yeah, I think that give it a good shot for whatever it is that you're trying to do, but know that it's okay if you recognize later that maybe it's not for you anymore. It's important to go through those different things.
So my next question I was going to ask, and you actually just mentioned it, was your appearance or appearances. I'm not exactly sure on American Ninja Warrior. Can you just share at the onset, like, how do you even get on that show? Was it something you auditioned for? Was it just good old fashioned networking? What allowed you to have that opportunity?
Yeah, so I have, when I was on the cover of Oxygen magazine in 2021, and the article in there that we had written together was Accidental Ninja. It was legitimately a complete accident. Like that was not something that I even had like on my radar that I wanted, like I was thinking about doing. I was competing in different fitness competitions at the time. That's where you like flip around on stage and then you do like posing and stuff like that. And I knew that I was like kind of starting to get over that. A lot of it was about like how you looked in your appearance. And I knew that I wanted something, still like athletic. And one of my friends was trying out for it. And at the time I was really good at creating, like, I love creating videos. You can tell from my content. I love creating videos. So she's like, can you help me create this video audition to get on American Ninja Warrior. And I was like, absolutely. So I went in, I started helping her with it. And then as I was doing it, the people around me were like, Angela, you were like a college gymnast. You're really strong upper body wise. Like maybe you should try out for this too. And I didn't really want to do it because I didn't want to step on anyone's toes. You know, my other friend was doing it. It was her thing. Like, I'm like, who am I to like walk in and now audition for it? So they convinced me to put a tape together, which I did. And then I wound up getting a call like months down the line after I forgot about it. And this audition tape is literally just you talking about your life. They want to see that you're athletic, but at the end of the day, it's a TV show. They want to see some kind of story that people can relate to. So we put that together, wind up getting the call to get on the show. And I had to figure out how to ninja within like a couple of weeks because it was like, they call you and it's like, it's just time for you to go. So yeah, complete accident getting on that show.
Then you tore your ACL.
I didn't tear my ACL the first time. So I've been on 4 or 5 times. The first time I went on, fell in love with the sport, was like, oh my goodness, I need to do this more. Then I started training like a mad woman. I was like, I got to do this. I got to ninja all the time. Was going to leagues, was going to different gyms, fell in love with the fact that it was about, you know, what you can physically do, like actually getting over obstacles and not about what your body looked like. And I auditioned again. I got really cocky the next 2 times. I'm like, I'm going to get on, obviously. Like I got on the first time. I got rejected in season 8. I got rejected on season 9. And then I tried one more time and I got on in season 10. And at that point, I'm like, I'm ready for this. Like, I'm going to crush the course. Went on the course, was legitimately crushing it. It was going to be top female. I knew I was like flying through it, and then had a weird landing on one of the obstacles, and that was it. Then wound up coming back for my comeback on season 11, season 13, stuff like that, which was great. What was really cool about that though is that created, at first that was like, oh my God, why me? What the hell? This is absolutely insane that like I now in front of everybody, all these people, I tore my ACL, I'm crying, like, you know, just the weakest I've ever been in front of everybody. That really was able to help me with what I was doing online, because now I had a really relatable story, right? A relatable story of somebody who went from, you know, a lot of times you're going, or like you're living life, things are going well, and then all of a sudden, boom, something hits you, whether it be an ACL tear, whether it be, you know, you get in a car accident, you lose your job, something happens to you. And for me to show my journey and document that on social media while I was going, it gave a nice relatable type vibe, instead of it being like, okay, cool, this is like win, 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 win. It's like, no, she's showing us now when you're down in the dumps and you have the story and you're trying to come out of it. So it was really something that, you know, you want to think that it's like this horrible thing that happened, but it was a blessing in disguise at the end of the day, because it really allowed me to create this story that was able to help others through their hardships.
So can you talk us through in a little bit more detail? And this is like everything you're saying just keeps on transition to what's on my mind next, is how you took a non-internet based kind of appearance and publicity, and it helped to fuel your business and the brand that you're creating online, whether that was followers, whether that was more appearances, whether that was just simply an epic story you now got to tell repeatedly online, and it made you more relatable. Can you share a little bit more detail on that?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, a lot of it became, you know, first of all, again, sharing your story, putting yourself out there, that stuff really does help, because there's a couple people that might be watching you that you don't realize that are going to come in there. And so when you're on a TV show, I think a lot of people just think they're going to just get all this press and it's just going to like happen for them and all of a sudden it's going to turn around. It's not. Like, you need to put in the work. I had to put in footwork. Like, once I started like seeing my story was catching on, I started doing outreach. I started reaching out to magazines. I started reaching out to local news stations, telling my story. I had to do the footwork to get that to happen, to get that out there.
So things just didn't magically appear in your inbox. You really put in the guerrilla marketing to get out there.
Sometimes they do. I mean, I always tell people this. Sometimes they do. That's even with brand deals too. Sometimes the brand deals magically appear. Amazing. Sometimes these appearances magically appear, but most of the time it's not. Like, you need to put yourself in front of those people. You need to make sure that they see you, and they're probably not going to see you the first time. They're probably going to like ignore you. They're probably not going to see any. You got to keep putting yourself out there, sending the email, updating them, putting yourself in the right position to meet these people. And a lot of that had to do with, you know, direct cold outreach, or honestly was me when I traveled to New York City and I started doing that. I started going to those fitness classes that I knew those people were like where they were at. I knew I put myself in the room. I didn't go in the room and ask for anything though. Right. I just went in there and shared my story. And a lot of times it just naturally, organically happened. I think where people make a lot of mistakes is two different ways. They either don't do anything, right? They assume they're just going to come to them. Or number two, they are way too asking pushy. They're way too like, hey, check me out, watch this, when you need to establish some kind of relationship and also make sure that they know how this is going to benefit them in the long run. So having those conversations with people, you don't know what room you're in. When I was in New York City, sometimes I didn't even know who I was talking to, but I tell my story or I'd help them with a move while they're in there, and it would just kind of naturally happen in that way. But I did have to do the outreach, but again, in the right way. So definitely making sure.
Can we pause for 1 second and dive deeper into the right way? And I'll add some more context. So actually, the reason this podcast is created was because of Gary Vaynerchuk. He was the inspiration for it. He then was the inspiration for saying, you just need to DM people on Instagram, which then I reached out to Francesca because I just reached out to anyone on Instagram I was following that I thought was cool. And then Francesca introduced us. So you can see just this trajectory of what has happened. Whatever I said to Francesca, I didn't come across as a weirdo, and she wanted to be on the podcast. And apparently I did it in the right way. So can you share a little bit more of what does the right way mean when you are, maybe the homework assignment is 50 messages to influencers on DMs or brands a day? What does the right way look like in that message?
Absolutely. I think this is an amazing question because most of the time I'm getting some DMs that I'm like, who taught you that? Like, really, like, why did you message me like that? Like, that's actually insane. So let's first talk a little bit about like what not to do. Like what not to do is follow the person right away. You like all their stuff. I get it. You're trying to show that you're like in there, whatever. And then immediately, send them a message asking for something. Like you're asking for something, whatever. I mean, that's the wrong way. They see right through you. That happens a lot of times with coaches right now. Like they're just, they do all that and they're like, hey, I see that you have an online thing. I'd love to be your coach. Let's get up on a call, whatever. No, like instead, follow them, check out their page. Yeah, make some comments on there, whatever, and open up an organic conversation. So a lot of times it's the easiest way for Instagram is doing it through like stories, right? Like maybe somebody is, going for a run that morning. Oh, hey, I love going for runs in the morning and stuff like that. Just like opening up some like whatever and allowing that to marinate, right? Again, not right after that, again, jumping into, oh, wait, can you X, Y, Z, whatever. It can be like really, that can be like a lot. So yeah, I think organically going in and, just starting some kind of conversation in that way. Also, when you do decide to ask for something or you want something, really focusing less on yourself and how that something else is going to benefit them. How is that going to benefit them? How is it going to benefit them to come on your podcast? How is that brand going to benefit from you putting like something that you make on your page? So relating it to their audience, or maybe if you're pitching yourself to a podcast, like telling the podcast, hey, I actually work with PR stuff all the time. I think this would be amazing for your audience to help them with that. That comes off more authentic and less like take, whatever. You want to give, like give first. So yeah, I've actually come up with like for my assistant, she sends out like templates if I'm ever pitching something. So she have certain templates that
Very awesome.
It literally says like start something and then it says like fill in the blank here, do the research. It literally says like do the research, write out the stuff and things like that. Like that's really important when it comes to outreach. Also, like you said, doing it through people is great, right? If you can have somebody else connect you to somebody that you had a great experience with, that helps a ton. Like if I had the other day, I was hanging out with some of these awesome fitness people. They're doing something with some kind of meal company. They connected me, via text together right away. And they're like, oh, check out Angela. She's awesome. We got on a call. That was very organic and easy to like hop into something like that. So I definitely think that what you did very, very, very good to do. Hey, do you have anybody else that you think would be great on my podcast? And it's like that kind of like organically happens. But yeah, having that kind of set up. And if something has worked for you before personally, and like kind of document that, like, let's say you were able to get a speaking gig or something, a brand deal, whatever, document what you did along that journey. You might realize that maybe it took a little longer than you thought it did before you stop hopping into everybody's DMs and just, again, saying a bunch of random stuff. Really, I think really connecting that relationship is really important. Like at the end of the day, the people on the other side of the screen, we're humans. Everyone's a human. So you have to remember to treat them like humans and not just like, again, like kind of trying to take.
I'm going to go back to one last thing. and what you were sharing at the onset, which was around pull-ups. And when we talked about a month or so ago, you were saying pull-ups are the introduction to you and your brand, and then there's a lot of other things that people can work with you on. So can you talk a little bit about that from a customer journey standpoint, getting more marketing-y? Why is that the entry point to work with you? And then a little bit more about your other product offers that follow.
Yeah, that's a really an amazing question. So first piece is it doesn't start with normally just selling the program. Normally it starts with giving them something free. So I have a couple of free opt-ins. We're actually optimizing it right now, but I had like a 6-day free pull-up challenge that people would just sign up for. They hop in, and that goes into giving a ton of value. Like literally make sure that I give them so much value and allow them to kind of get to know me a little bit more before they, they trust me to like buy something. So having something free to opt in and doing a really great job with that is probably the first step in anything for your customer journey. Why I chose pull-ups is because there's so many fitness people out there. Let's be real. There's so much fitness stuff out there. What is going to have let you stand out? People come to me for pull-ups. Females always ask, I want to get a pull-up. I want to get a pull-up. I want to pull-up. That allows me to set myself apart from all the other, fitness influencers.
Can I ask a quick question on that? Is that's a thing women want, like to do my first pull up or however many that is? That's like a conversation in their head?
Yes.
Awesome.
All the time. Like, yeah, that's literally a conversation that I've had so many times. And finally I just decided, you know what if I just go all in on pull-ups? Like, why not? And it was almost like it was pretty easy, right? That's the other thing. It was easy. It was like people were coming in, no problem. Like, yes, I want my pull-up. Yep. Oh yeah. Oh man. Yeah. I'm stuck on the band all the time. It's so frustrating. I'm like, I got you. Let's get you off the pull-up. Right. So then I help them along the journey of getting their pull-up, right? They maybe buy my 30-day pull-up revolution program, or for a while I was doing that like a lot of coaching with that. So like they had a lot of time with me. So they go through that. They now trust me. I've helped them get their pull-up, right? I've helped them. So they like your training style. They're feeling, inspired and stuff like that. Then a lot of times what they'll literally ask you, they'll be like, what now? And at first when I didn't have anything, I was like, I don't know, like, I have no idea, like whatever. And then I started to try and think of like what I can make. And I'm like, I guess I have a full body program you can do. It'll be up in like 30 days. So I like tried it. I sold it before I even made it. And they started going in, and then they're in what's called Strong Feels Good, which is my more full body approach. So kind of leading them into that. When I tried to switch gears for a while and just talk about Strong Feels Good and not talk about pull-ups, it was much harder for me to get people in, because that was a much broader type thing. When it goes from pull-ups to actually like the full body type thing, it was easy transition to get them in, easy to get one-on-ones, all that stuff like that. Because again, I'd help them get
back 1 second. And what was not working? What was that product?
So Strong Feels Good, which is my full body.
Okay.
I had a full body. Yeah. I had a full body membership for a while. I now changed it into, instead of a membership, because I didn't feel like doing memberships anymore, it's literally just packaged into a 365-day program. They buy it one time, one buy. That wasn't working. Like I literally tried everything to get people to just buy that right off my page, and it was not working. And I took a lot of time into it and try to understand it. And where I realized is that so many people already have that, right? That so many people like have what's going to set me apart to get them in the door to be like, wow, this girl is awesome, was pull-ups. So now I'm like, okay, cool. I made that. I decided I'm not going to leave with that anymore at all. It's there. People buy it all the time. It's there. But I now leave with the pull-up because that's an easy way to get people in, because that's what they want. And I have a damn good pull-up program. They normally get their pull-up at the end of the 30 days. Like that's pretty awesome. So they want to work with you more now that you've helped them achieve something. And you really were able to speak to them. So yeah, again, really noticing what's not working. That was not working. And I took the time, I did a lot of stuff with it. And then I'm like, why am I going the hard way? Like that took me a while to realize. I'm like, why am I trying to push this? And I'm really pulling my hair out, trying to make this work, when this other thing was super clearly working very, very well. Like, why don't I double down on that? And then everything else, just kind of follows with it.
So in your development as a marketer, how did you learn these skills? As you went from the sciences, and my dad's a dentist and his brain does not operate in the world of anything to do with marketing. So how did you go from that and that part of your brain to now marketing?
I mean, a lot of it was literally like trial and error. I literally had no idea fully what I was doing. Really. I mean, it's so true. Like I think marketing was, I knew I was damn good at what I do. Like, I'm like, I'm
Mhm.
super good at what I do. But what people don't realize when they get into business is a majority of it is marketing, right? You could be a
Mhm.
damn good trainer, have sucky marketing, and nobody's going to ever see you.
Right.
So I think I started to like, I tried to look around to what other people were doing first.
Mm.
I try not to be too obsessive about it, because then you can start to get like, oh my God, like this is too much, or like I'm not going to be good
Right.
enough thing. But I started to kind of look around to what people were doing. I took a couple of classes. I started to join like entrepreneur groups, and I just started again playing with
Mm.
different things. And the first thing to play with was definitely the email marketing. I mean, emails are like, Instagram is great, but like emails is where you're selling. It's where you're gaining trust. And
Mhm.
a lot of people are scared to give you their email nowadays. So if they are giving you their email, like that already shows a lot of trust, because they don't want like spam coming in there.
Right.
Um, but yeah, a lot of it was I signed up for a lot of people's things. I signed up for different programs. I looked at their email marketing that they were sending in.
Mm.
I looked at how they set up their courses, the things they did, and I kind of like would go through and be like, oh man, that like really didn't work for me. Why? Like I
Mhm.
didn't like that. Let me change it and make it a little better in my way. So definitely making sure that you're going around, and if you have a product that you're trying to sell or something that you're trying to do, definitely going around doing your homework, like go around, take the other ones, see what you didn't like, see what you do like. And playing with that. That's really what I wound up doing before I joined even any of
Mm.
these entrepreneur groups that I'm in.
So with email marketing, I feel like half of my day is just unsubscribing from emails coming to my inbox. And you have the different point of view that email marketing is an effective tool that you can use as a business. Can you share a little bit around what you're doing from the email marketing standpoint to keep your audience engaged and keep your unsubscribe numbers down as much as possible?
Yeah. So at the end of the day, I think that people, go about email marketing in a wrong way. They just want any email. Like, I don't want any email. I want the email
Mhm.
of the person who actually wants the value that I'm going to provide them. Like,
Mhm.
I'd much rather when they subscribe, I'm like, good, like, go, like, really, like, go, like, you're not like, this is not the list for you. That's totally fine. So I've made sure that I'm really specific on what they're going to be getting, and I make sure they know that I'm not sending them a bunch of spam. So and adding value, lots of value. I'm not really selling a lot, but when I do sell, I sell, right? I'm actually
Right.
just providing a lot of value. Like I know I have a ton of newsletters I get. I love opening them. There's a few business ones. I'm like, hell yeah, I love getting it every Friday. I read them. I feel like I'm getting
Right.
value. And then obviously they have like the trinkle in their programs at the end. So I'll give you an example with the pull-up program, because that's the one that works literally like magic
Perfect.
on mine. So they subscribe to get into the free thing, whatever that free thing is. So
Mhm.
like right now it's the 6-day challenge, right? Once they come in, I send them a welcome email. Welcome. This is what you're going to be getting out of it. Hey, if you have any questions, I always ask like 3 questions. It's normally like, where are you stuck in your pull up? What are you
Mhm.
struggling with? And I always say to them, reply to this, and tell me, like, where are you stuck? I want to know. The amount of people that actually reply back, amazing. That's already starting them on
Mhm.
that journey of like, oh, I want to be here. I'm looking for those answers. Like, let me help you. So
Mhm.
I respond back, or my assistant responds back. We make sure that they get a response and they see that this email is of value to them. Then after that, there's a sequence they go through. I personally like, there's different people have different like techniques also, by the way. So like, this is just what's worked for me.
Right.
I always have an email that goes out every single week to this group that's already created. It's a sequence I've created, and it's all just providing value. It's literally, and it's repurposing, by the way, a lot of the stuff that I've used on my Instagram. So I'm not creating
Mm.
a ton of new content. It's literally the same shit. Like I just use it again, right? Especially the stuff that's worked. So they might have the next email be like, oh, are you stuck on the assisted band? Here's a full video that I made to break down exactly what you can do to get off that band. And
Mm.
it's just like value. And then I do a bunch of those. I think like for a few weeks we have it going down. And then you start to see that I'll start to trickle in after I'm giving them some kind of amazing value. P.S. I have a 30-day pull-up program. If that's something you're interested in, you want a blueprint, like here's a little link, just like check it out. Not forcing them, not pushing them to buy it, just
Right.
kind of like trickling in that, hey, this is here if you want to like kind of see what I have available to you. Again, continue to add value, asking questions, all that stuff like that. A lot of times people will respond back. And then we'll hit a certain point where we start to say, hey, I have this program, and we'll talk about how we have a special rate for them because they're
Mm.
here. Hey, if you want this, whatever. If not, like no big deal. Like again, you're more like you're invited instead of you need to take this. Like you're
Mhm.
invited. Like come on in. Like here's a little discount like rate on it if you want to come in. Continue to add value. Then that's when you start to add testimonials. Hey, here's what a few people had said about this, or I have a great email that's like, hey, she went from 0 to 10 pull-ups like with my program. Like, check it out. Here's her story.
Very
Full
cool.
story. Hey, grab the blueprint. Here it is. Then they're going to want to know what's in your program. What's in it? How is it delivered? How do you deliver it? So you write an email on that. Hey, people have been asking me how this is delivered. It's not on an app. It's on my website. Here, I'm going to show you like behind the scenes of like what it looks like. So you can see like if this is going to work for you. Again, not pushing, but like this might work for you. This might be what you need. More testimonials. And then at the end, that's when you go towards like the urgency, scarcity type thing where you're like, hey, you have 2 more days for this special offer. If you want it, get it. If not, no worries. Again, just like really, and then after they do or don't buy, they either get kicked out of the sequence or they get put into a new one, which again, it goes back into value. So it's all kind of like, again, this game, but those emails, those things that I've created, they took a long time for me to develop which ones work. You then go through your back end and you say to yourself, which one are people dropping off on? Which one are people loving and they're clicking and they're opening it? Then you double down on those ones. So it's like, it's kind of like a science experiment. That's probably why I love it. You know, like
that is a lot of digital marketing. I describe it as
marketing.
You're a kind of mad scientist.
It's the science. You're like, oh, did that work? It's like when I help people get their pull up, I'm like, it's literally a science experiment. Oh, did that work for you? Okay, cool. It didn't. All right, let's try this instead. Like it's kind of cool.
What elements of marketing light you up the most? Is it the creatives, the content, the analytics studying, the market research? As you hit on so many different elements of marketing that you're involved with, is there one that really lights you up the most?
I mean, I love creating the content. It's my favorite thing. Like I literally, if I look back, it's wild when you look back now. When I was younger, I was making fun videos. Like I was always doing that. Like not
like kid young.
Oh yeah, like always. Like as soon as like the video stuff started coming out, like I remember making these, videos for my German class, like the full video. I mean, it was, and like I was directing it. Like I love that. I do enjoy some of the writing aspect of it. I do enjoy making amazing copy that like converts and again just adds so much value. So those 2 aspects I love. The stuff I don't love is sometimes is like actually sitting down and like plugging it in and going through all that, all that stuff, which is now so great that I have I have 2 assistants. Like now I'm able to be like, okay, this fills my cup. This stuff really annoys me. Like I hate actually having to put it on the website and making it look pretty, like written wise. Like, so I have them now do that, which is great because we have a nice like system where it's like, I'm going to create, I'm going to write, you're going to take it, you're going to put it onto these other things.
Very cool. Talk to us a little bit about your repurposing of content. Are you using the same content on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube? Are you customizing it per the channel?
Yeah, that's great. So I honestly, TikTok's been getting a lot of leads. So I mean, I've been going in on TikTok, the best I can.
Because of Gary Vee?
I mean, not because of Gary Vee. I mean, well, Gary Vee said that too, but yeah, I mean, I've just been seeing a lot of return on TikTok, which has been great. Return on like getting people in the door. Buying wise, Instagram's definitely been having, I get more people to buy still on Instagram than I do TikTok, but TikTok's a great way to like kind of get them in the door, become like an expert. I literally, what I've been doing now, I have something called Airtable. I don't know if you know what Airtable is, but I'm obsessed with it. It's basically like an Excel spreadsheet, but way better. And it allows you to delegate and do all this amazing stuff. So I will drop my video in there. My video then gets taken by an editor. He takes it and edits it and puts the text on it. After that, then that goes to this woman, Grace from the Philippines. She will then take that and check it off and put it on Instagram. Pinterest is doing great, actually. I put it on Instagram, Pinterest, TikTok, YouTube Shorts. I really haven't done Facebook. I'm like, oh my God, another one. So I literally just put it on like those 4 channels. And then she also takes some of the stuff and puts it on LinkedIn. So we have like a process, and then she puts the dates in there and we just kind of drip it out. I normally am the one posting everything on Instagram. It's just like my love, and I like doing it. So I'm not really having anyone post my Instagram, but she will take all the stuff from and put it on that Airtable, nice and organized. We'll push it out. And what's great is after that, you can go through, you can double down and see number wise, hey, this content did really well. Look at that and be like, why did that content do really well? Did that content do really well because of like a hook you had on it? Did that content do really well because it was just like a freak accident? A lot of times you'll see that like certain pieces of content do well all the channels. And that's when a lot of times you sit back and you're like, maybe I should make some free content off this, because it's like they can grab their email, which is pretty cool. So for example, the one that's doing really good on all my pages is underrated core exercises that you're not doing. So I decided to make a free guide on that. Like I'm in the
Very
process of
cool.
making it. It's literally done well every time, every channel. Okay, cool. And now it does well. Let me do it again and freaking get emails out of it. But yeah, so I have somebody repurpose on the channels. You don't need to make it harder. I also feel like if that's overwhelming to you and you're not even seeing success in one channel, I wouldn't start like putting it everywhere until like you start to, get your feet wet in one, because otherwise you're just going to overwhelm yourself. The only reason I'm doing this is because I got my Instagram down pat. Like I have it
Right.
down. I know what I'm doing. But I feel like sometimes people try and focus on all of it and it becomes overwhelming. I say focus on one. You can always repurpose it later and figure that out later.
You've talked about two components of marketing that sometimes I feel like maybe butting heads, and it's this feels really good, and this actually brought in results for my business. Can you talk about how you balance the two of those as a business owner?
Absolutely. I mean, you have to make sure that, and we were just talking about this when I was away with a bunch of people actually about marketing, right? A lot of marketing agencies have been like focusing on numbers and being like, oh, I got 10,000 views in this video. Okay, cool. Did you get $10,000 of sales on that video? Probably not. Like a lot of times it's like, viral content doesn't necessarily mean you're getting sales from it, like at all.
Right.
I've met so many people who have so many followers, viral content all the time. They have no money. Like they're not doing well with it. So I think definitely making sure, you need to have a mix of it, because if you want to have, like, I have some that I just, on my page, they're definitely just for fun. But yeah, I think really nailing down, if you are trying to be profitable, like on the page, you need to take the stuff that's actually bringing in the emails and bringing in the money. So doubling down on that and actually looking at them, and that might be your reel that only had 5,000 views, right? That actually might be the reel that got you more incoming traffic, whereas the one with 1 million may not have gotten you like any. So I think it just depends on what you're looking to do. Like, are you looking to sell a product and make some money off it? Are you trying to drive stuff to some kind of page to again make money? Are you just trying to get a bunch of brand deals and you're just focusing on that, which those are great, but also know that you're not in control of that. You can get them and you cannot get them. Like you might get some brand deals here or there. They're not going to probably be consistent. So I think it just like was me being like, again, why am I working so much harder when I can work easier, and just finding those things that do work and just keep doing it. Like you just got to keep repeating that process.
So I only have a few more questions left. And the first one is, can you talk about a marketing fail you've experienced and what you learned in that process, whether, your current business or the gym you owned in the past, a marketing fail and the lessons from it?
Yikes, I've had so many fails. I can't even tell you. I mean, I've had moments where literally like I put a product out there. I thought it was going to crush. And this is like, years ago, and like nobody bought. Like I got like 3 people to buy. I was like, damn it. Just went through all of that and like didn't work. But one of the biggest fails that would happen not too long ago, maybe like I would say maybe 2 years ago. I had run a 14-day challenge, and my goal was to get the 14-day challenge to get them to go into my subscription that I was going to create. So I did the 14-day challenge. First time I did it was in March. Like 1 year, I was in March or whatever. It was like spring. What was it, like my spring challenge or whatever it was? Did a great job, like made sure they were really engaged. The Facebook group was pumping. As soon as I advertised for the membership, easy, 50% of people bought. No problem. Hell yeah. Awesome. So I'm like, all right, gotta like, again, repeat this process, like might as well. I decided to do it again, like spring, I was gonna do it in the fall. So I do it in the fall, and same exact thing, 14 days, all that stuff like that. At the end, I'm like ready for this big launch. I'm like, let's go. Like 10% maybe, like nothing. And I was like, I had to sit back and be like, what the actual, like I did even better on this one, like with what I thought. Why did this one fail and this one worked? And honestly, it was a few different things. One was timing. It was spring to summer, like whatever, big thing. Coming back to school, people are a little bit more frantic, type of that with the membership. Number two, those people that went in that 14-day challenge, what I didn't see was their journey. A lot of those people had actually been in my other programs and been following me for like about a year. They went to that 14-day challenge, easy sell to get in a subscription, easy, because they went through that whole journey, not just the 14 days. The people that came into that 14-day one in fall, they were newer. I didn't really know them that well. Like even though I like gained trust with them, they didn't know me that well yet. So it really failed because of a timing thing. And it really failed because, they didn't go on that full journey with me. So I thought that was like a real big eye opener onto a lot of this stuff, like you really need to take a look at all of these things, how far they went on with you, the journey, the timing of the year that you did. And instead of, looking at it as a fail, I looked at it as like a learning experience, obviously, but it's tough to do that when you're sitting there like, shit, I really needed to make that money to
Right.
like pay back all the people that are working type for it,
I had a good conversation with his name's Scott Trench, and he runs Bigger Pockets, a real estate podcast. And he was saying that usually it takes someone a year to be in their community before they buy their first product with their business. So that's a good learning, I guess, for you too, that you experienced maybe that like 2 week window was too tight, but 6 months down the line, there was a good percent of them that would want to buy something from you.
Exactly. Or now, like I said, I do a couple one-on-one high ticket people. They've been with me, then they've now done like 2 or 3 programs, and to buy one-on-one training, they had no problem. Easy because of that. Not because, I look back and I love that. That's what's so important about, I mean, I'm sure marketing, you talk about this too, but like with tagging and stuff like that. I love having people tagged for my email list and on my being able to see what they bought, when they came in. It's so cool to go through each of those people, and when you see that journey, it makes it more clear on what you can do in order to get someone just like that to come in more.
What out of curiosity, what CRM are you using?
What's that?
Your CRM, like, are you using Infusionsoft, Active Campaign? How are you managing all of that?
Yeah, so I do everything in Kajabi. Everything.
Awesome.
It's all in one spot. It's the email marketing. It's my programs are on there. My Stripe sales are on there. I like to have it in one package, just one place, nowhere else.
Very cool. So my last question today is, what is the best purchase you've made for under $100 in the last 6 months, and why?
Ooh,
Personally or professionally?
under $100. Jeez. It should just be personally.
It could be personally, professionally. I've had a few people say, Netflix, because Stranger Things came out over the summer, for instance.
I love Stranger Things, by the way. I mean, funny enough right now, which I'm actually really mad because I think I just broke it. I have to get a new one. I bought this like tea kettle that heats up your water in like 2 seconds. And I make this like mushroom tea every morning, and it's pretty much been the best thing I've ever bought because I love making that. And like, I was always waiting for the water to boil, and now it's
Totally.
like, it's like whoosh, boils right away. I'm like, where was this like magic?
Yeah, that's a perfect answer. So Angela, lastly, if anyone wants to follow you, stay connected, can you give some shout outs just to social channels, website, whatever is the best way to stay in touch?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can message me on Instagram at Angela_Gargano. Send me a message, just like I got back to I do get back to my DMs. I message everyone back. And if you need any help with anything with marketing or whatever, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. I'm also doing a lot of speaking and events now on this. So if that's something that you want me to come in and chat about, again, my experience and what I've been through, I think I'm finally excited to talk more about it because I feel like I've owned the gym. I've done the online thing. Like, I've actually been and lived through it. So I can definitely help, on your journey to make it a little bit easier. And that you can find me www.angela-gargano.com. You can find, all my programs. You can find the book me for speaking or events and stuff like that on there.
Perfect. Well, Angela, thank you so much for your time today. It's greatly appreciated.
Of course.